Welcome back to Okaloosa Today on Cox. I'm Doug Rayner with the City of Destin, and we're on location at the Heritage Museum of Northwest Florida in Valparaiso. A great place to visit. We encourage everybody to come out and check out their website sometime when you get a chance. Today we have a very special guest and somebody that we don't get to talk to that often on TV, and that is the Destin Area Chamber of Commerce and the Chamber President and CEO, Shane Moody. So thanks for being here, Shane.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, we have you here because of the partnership that the City of Destin has with the Chamber, something that we've grown over the years, and you've been with the Chamber for a number of years, and we just wanted to bring you in here to talk about that partnership so that our guests understand just how important the Chamber is to the City and the City is to the Chamber.
Yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't get and don't understand, because the City and the Chamber obviously have the same goals. Probably in the back of my mind, the number one goal is building on the quality of place, quality of life that we have. And we do that in numerous ways. We do it by stimulating the economy, getting businesses to do business with each other, getting the locals to do business with our Chamber members, making sure that we continue to promote Destin as a family destination, a great resort town to bring your family, so that our members are generating income. That in turn allows them to create jobs and pay salaries that allow people to live in Destin. And all of those people come together and make it a great place to live, work, and play. Well,
you know, the Chamber is really a business advocate, but it's so much more than that, and you just named so many things.
Right.
You know, it has to do with the tourism industry, but the tourists as well. Our residents benefit from the Chamber's work with the City, and then the City's partnership with the Chamber.
Right, and you know, you talk about the business component. You know, Destin is full of CPAs and title companies and attorneys and people that you wouldn't think benefit from tourism, but as you've experienced in your time in Destin, most of the people that live here now relocated here, and they relocated here because they visited here and fell in love with the place. And when you move to a community like that, and for those reasons, you do everything you can to maintain the quality of life and quality of place. So as those folks are coming in and buying properties, going to work, starting businesses, that trickles down to your CPAs and to your attorneys and to the title companies, which puts more people in the restaurants and more people in the shops. So it's a big system, it's a big web that we weave, but it benefits all of us.
It does, and again, the City is a component of that, and the Chamber works with the City on a regular basis. And before we get into too much of that, there's an initiative that the Chamber has right now, that's the 6 Pillars Initiative.
Right.
And I wanted you to tell us a little bit about, and our audience to understand what the Chamber's goal is with the 6 Pillars.
Well, the 6 Pillars for Florida's Future Economy is a statewide initiative that was started by the Florida Chamber Foundation 4 or 5 years ago. I was lucky enough to be involved in it from the beginning at the state level. And what they realized is that there was really no strategic plan for the state of Florida. So the big bodies in Tallahassee came together, the Department of Economic Opportunity, Workforce Florida, the Florida Chamber Foundation, and all put their heads together and said we need to come up with a strategic plan, an economic development plan. And from that, they charged the Chamber of Florida Foundation to create the strategic plan. They came up with the name, the 6 Pillars for Florida's Future Economy. And what they've done is devised a plan that is built on what we call, obviously, the 6 pillars. And those pillars are talent, supply, and education, innovation and economic development, infrastructure and growth leadership, business climate and competitiveness, civic and governance systems, and quality of life and quality of place. And that's the reason they came up with 6, and those specific 6 is they feel like you can put a plan together that encompasses all of those issues, all of the opportunities under those 6 pillars, and create a quality of life economic development plan. They've taken it across the state. As I said, I've been part of it since it began 5 or 6 years ago, and you know, I've been talking in Destin for 3 years about us doing this in Destin, and we finally this past year brought together the 4 chambers of commerce and the EDC, had our community planning event, finally submitted a plan to the state, and based on conversations I'm having with the Florida Chamber Foundation right now, it looks like early next year that Okaloosa County will receive its 6 Pillars designation. Now what that does for us is it puts us on the map with the state. As prospects come to the state and they're looking for a community that has everything that they need to relocate a business or maybe to expand a business here, the state can say, well, Okaloosa County is now 6 Pillar certified. We need to look there. Let's see what they have for you. So it brings us into play a little bit stronger with the state, which again puts us in the economic development, job creation, high skill, high wage jobs that help us improve the quality of life here.
And this is a chamber initiative, but I know you presented this information to the Destin City Council.
Right.
You've had meetings with our city manager and, as you mentioned, the EDC that will involve the city and to help with revitalizing parts of the city, economic development, and all those components, those 6 pillars that are vitally important to the city as well.
Absolutely, and you said a very important word there, revitalization and redevelopment. Destin is pretty much built out. There are some areas that could use some redevelopment. That's a key component in economic development and community development. So hopefully we can use the 6-pillar plan for Okaloosa County, bring it down to the local level, and even devise something a little more specific to Destin. Find us some targeted industries, look for the things that fit in Destin that can help us create high-skill, high-wage jobs, bring the kind of people into Destin that can afford to live there. They buy houses, real estate ad valorem taxes go up. You put the kind of quality kids in your school system that you need. So again, it goes back to that web that I talked about earlier. You know, we weave this web, and that's what we want to catch people and help us develop and help us grow the community in a way that is good for all of us.
It really is, and that's a comprehensive view of this project or initiative or movement. But there are some things that have happened recently and some things that are in the works that the city and the chamber. And again, the word partner is probably not even the right word, because I think it's a little bit closer than that
Right.
most times.
Yeah.
But working together to get some things done. And over the past few years, there are some big items that have taken place. The city boardwalk is one of them, and the Destin Harbor Boardwalk, and creating that festive marketplace. That's an initiative that the chamber was a part of a long time ago and helped champion and get us to the point where we actually had that. And we just want to thank you for your involvement in that process.
And that was fun. I inherited that when I arrived in Destin 10 years ago, much like I inherited the beach restoration issue that we worked together on for so long and finally accomplished. I appreciated the opportunity for you all to let me MC the ceremony when we cut the ribbon on the Harbor Boardwalk, but that was 25 years in the making. And people say, how did it take that long? When you've got 17 or 18 property owners that all have a different vision, you have to bring them together and work through all the issues. This city did a great job working with them. We served a lot as the marketing mouth for it and talked about the things that can be accomplished or the things that can come to the harbor when we get the boardwalk built. It's down there. You go ask any property owner, any business along the harbor and the waterfront now, that boardwalk has paid off for them. This is more crowded this past year than it's ever been. And so that's a good thing. And again, the beach restoration issue. Before I arrived, the city and some business leaders realized that the beaches were being eroded and we needed to do something. They brought a group of people together and we lobbied, we found money. It's been a task, it's been a chore, but this past year we finally, I think now have all of the beaches in Destin restored and nourished, and we've got wide beaches and we've got a place for the families to spend time when they come down, and that's really Destin's reputation is the quality beaches, the water, the harbor, and the fishing. So all of these things that we've done together fit the mission of the world-class community that's in both our mission statement and the city's mission statement. I mean, we're even in sync there for the most part. And again, I think relationship, partnership, those words really aren't strong enough to describe what we have. And we're happy whenever the city calls us to sit down and talk and help you guys get done what needs to get done.
And that's very true. We experience that a lot, and that phone works both ways.
It does.
We call and ask for things, you guys call and ask for things, and what we're seeing is results, and real results. Big picture things, small things, and something that's almost a staple on this show of this year has been, our traffic issues in Destin, our parking problems, and one thing you can say is that, well, we have a parking problem because we have so many people here. Well, that's great. It's great
Right.
for business and our tourism and everything else, but it's something that we are looking at closely. And I know that the Chamber is backing some things that are going to go down in the Harbor District that will hopefully alleviate some of the problems we have. And one of them is the light at the Marler Street crossing, where the city has put in a beautiful parking lot.
Right.
That's something that you guys have pushed for and continue to push for. I know the Sheriff's Office is on board with that too.
Yeah, and again, I think that's more than just the city and the chamber. I think that there's a lot of people the property owners, most of whom are chamber members. You mentioned the Sheriff's Department. I think the county's on board with it. I think FDOT is going to come along and play, but you got to find the funding and you got to get it put in. Our issue, our traffic issues on Highway 98, the solution is not on Highway 98. It's elsewhere. So we have to look beyond 98 and look at other transportation opportunities, other transportation answers. But if we can get that light put in, that's step number one in making the harbor a pedestrian-friendly place. Right now, without that light and without lit pedestrian crosswalks,
Right.
controlled pedestrian crosswalks, it's difficult to get people across, and most don't want to park on the north side. They keep looking for that south side parking. I don't want to talk about anything else that we've got going on because we're still in the initial stages of discussing that, but the things that we think we can get accomplished down there will make a tremendous difference. Public parking, access to the waterfront, access to the harbor and the boardwalk, and it's going to take the community effort and all of us working together to get that done.
That's right, and again, it's a community effort that's spearheaded by the stakeholders, and as you mentioned, just the traffic and the light down there. You mentioned the businesses and everybody. Everybody's a stakeholder in what the chamber
Right.
does and what the city does. Whether you're a member of the chamber or not, what's going on, what the chamber does benefits you somehow. Whether it's bringing in people, helping to push initiatives through that the city's working on, and vice versa.
Right, and that's a great point. That's one of the reasons I love what I do. I think when we make a decision at the chamber that's a pro-business decision, a pro-growth, pro-quality growth, not just growth, but quality growth decision, it positively affects thousands and thousands of people, every decision, and there's something to be said for that. And when we can get together with the city and with the county and with the stakeholders and the community leaders and come up with solutions that improve our quality of life, there's just a reward there that you can't really place a value on. That's why people love vacationing in Destin. That's why the people who live here love living here. And again, it's just a big circle that we all fit into, and we put the puzzle together. And when the puzzle's complete, it's something that's great for everyone.
It really is. We've talked a lot about a lot of real hard-hitting, concrete, important things, and there are also some fun things that we do, and some things that we can
Right.
can get behind and market and push that we would like to talk about a little bit about, and that's the dressing up Destin at Christmas time.
Right.
The city has a few small initiatives that they've done, and the chamber's come on board this year to really help us drive that, because the TDC is looking to market Destin as a Christmas vacation destination, and that's something that we're going to try to look at this year. And if it doesn't get completed this year, because we're pushing on time, it's something that we can grow into something better.
Yeah, and I think this is what we're trying to do this year is a great baby step, first step to grow it in future years. But working with you all, trying to find a way to fund Christmas lighting in the medians and the street and along the streetscapes of the Harbor CRA and the Town Center CRA, which are two main business districts that we have, the two places that really are the heart of Destin. And if we can come up with a plan and a way to fund lighting those medians and the streetscapes, that's going to draw people down there to see the lights, and it's going to be a bright, festive atmosphere. People love that at Christmas time and during the holidays. Well, bringing them down there also gives them the opportunity to park their car, shop, dine, play along the harbor waterfront. So again, it's a positive economic impact, it's business development, it's quality growth, and again, that goes back to what I said earlier, that all fits into the great big circle in the puzzle that we're trying to put together.
That's right. A lot of our visitors don't get off of the main streets of Destin to go into the neighborhoods, which are well lit at Christmas time.
Right.
You see wonderful things around there, and the city actually has awards for Christmas lights in
Right.
residential and businesses. But this is kind of a call to our business community to spruce it up this year, and to let's go that next step, and then next year we'll build on that. Again, you mentioned the median lights and things like that. Those are things that we're going to try to push, and our businesses play a key component, because that's where most of our visitors are and what they see.
You're exactly right, and I think it benefits us too that we're the number 2 drive destination in Florida, only behind Orlando, the Disney World area. So, you draw the radius of people that could come to town for a long weekend. If we get this bright, festive Christmas holiday atmosphere in the 2 CRAs and the 2 business districts, people are going to go home and say, you've got to go to Destin for a long weekend and see what they've done for the holidays. That word of mouth advertising and marketing for us is stronger and more powerful than anything else that we could do. So again, I think what we're trying to do this year is a great first baby step to lead us to more baby steps, which will lead us to build the staircase so that people come and climb this.
Oh, and we have the components in place, and that's very clear from this conversation that we're having right now down to plans that have been drawn up and things that we do on a daily basis with one another. And it's greatly appreciated that the city has a partner in the Chamber of Commerce that like we do, and thank you for your hard work.
And if it wasn't reciprocal, it wouldn't be able to be done. So I thank you, and I thank everyone at the city, and I appreciate the relationship and the respect that y'all give us, and we're glad to give that respect back and work together to improve our life and live, work, and play in this great city.
Well, this is great, and again, thanks
Thank you,
Shane,
man,
for
as
being
always.
Here. It's just a pleasure, and we look forward to working with you on all these things we talked about and more.
Well, let me know.
And again, we want to remind everybody to spruce up for the holidays. Again, it's a chamber initiative, it's a city initiative, and it's a great time to get into Christmas and festive spirit at the holiday time. We have a few things going on in the City of Destin, starting with the Pinfish Classic on November the 2nd. Excuse me, that's the 15th annual Pinfish Classic. We also have the 27th annual Christmas tree lighting on December the 5th. The Holiday Craft Show is December the 7th. 28th annual Destin Christmas Parade is on December the 14th. And the Holiday Shootout Basketball Tournament is on December the 21st. And all of these events are on the City of Destin's website, cityofdestin.com. We really encourage you to come out, be a part of the festivities that the City of Destin is putting on this holiday season, and also to remember that you got a chamber that is advocating for you every day, just like the City of Destin is. We appreciate you watching the City of Destin show, Okaloosa Today, and stay tuned for Ted Corcoran and the City of Fort Walton Beach.